So we've all heard of the term the FromSoft Formula, but what really makes that? For some reason, my brain always goes to some crazy chemist in a lab with green glowing liquids and vials. But anyway, today I'm going to be discussing the themes and elements of the FromSoft lineup that people love most about them and set their formula apart from others. The topics that we're about to discuss are not specific to From Software games by any means, but these are the pieces that they do so incredibly well that make up the overall picture of the FromSoft experience and what makes that formula work. So before we get things started, I do want to acknowledge that everybody goes through these games their own unique way. Whether it's your character type, your weapon choice, the mental space that you're in going into the game for the first time, there's a lot that can influence that first playthrough and that first time experience. So as we go through these topics today, keep in mind these may not be highlights for everybody, but overall as a community and the research that I've done on these games, these are the main themes that make FromSoft games FromSoft games. So the first topic that we're going to get into today is the difficulty that these games have become known for. The best way that I can picture this is a person standing at the very base of a mountain, looking up to the summit, and knowing that all of this space stands between them and their final destination. Now, the great thing about these games is that in most cases, once you decide that you want to continue and you enjoy them, you are typically knowingly putting yourself in those situations, and doing that can give a player a sense of control or power over that outcome and making it to that summit. I've brought it up before in the FromSoft Restored video, the freedom to fail, and this is exactly that. These games give you a world and an opportunity to express yourself, fail, learn, be curious, all without real world consequences. And there's no timelines, there's no weight, there's no people breathing over your shoulder. You are able to explore that and get to that final destination, that goal, your own way and in your own time. And all of those things add to that overall experience that we all go through in these games. One of the most common themes I came across in my research for this video was FromSoft's approach to boss fights and the value that those fights carry for the player. That value can be broken down in many different ways, whether it's lore, design, quest lines, or just the experience as a whole. Sure, there are a few outliers or bosses that we can all just generally agree are dog water, but overall the way FromSoft creates boss battles is completely unmatched. It's not as much a carried experience where you are given everything that you need to accomplish it right away. It certainly is a learning journey, and if you're open to that process and that journey, you tend to have a much more enjoyable time. Having these experiences that are worthwhile to pursue and reach the end is something not many other games can really claim with a whole lot of confidence. Many other titles and developers tend to just spoon-feed players what's needed and take away that overall discovery experience for the player. These fights are designed to keep you curious, keep you wanting to see what is next in the lineup, to explore what's around that next corner. As one Reddit user puts it, it's engaging enough to keep you going, but cryptic enough to keep you guessing. Some may not enjoy that experience of piecing it together with time, but for many players of these games, that is exactly what we've come to love about them. The journey, not so much the destination. Some fights are more challenging than others. Some are more of a spectacle. And then there are the ones that are incredibly ingrained in the story. Regardless of how they were introduced or the impact they possess, these are some of the most notable fights in all of FromSoft based on the community. Genichiro and Ishin. Midir.
「 Midir.
Ludwig, Sister Fried, Melania, Artorias, Lady Maria, Malekith, Ornstein and Smo, Gale, Now, this list certainly does not cover them all. There are many other fights and interactions throughout these titles that are definitely worth being on here. This is just a quick kind of idea of some of the fights that actually hold value at the end, whether it's closure with a character, or it's lore, or it's just the overall challenging experience in getting to the end. These are all examples of fights that hold that value. Although these games are known for their challenging battles and environments, they are also what I and many others would consider to be fair. They are redeeming. You can freely make your mistakes, but you are able to come back and eventually you'll hit that redemption round. You will have that opportunity to defeat that obstacle, and the experience in most cases feels deserved and earned. It wasn't until I went through my first FromSoft playthrough with Elden Ring that I had realized that. That experience fueled me to continue seeking similar challenges like other FromSoft titles and Souls-likes, and continue building that self-efficacy, as well as continuing to believe that I could learn and improve so long as I had the patience and perseverance to keep doing so. There will be a video I put out shortly that will be discussing topics such as self-efficacy, post-traumatic growth, and more, that these games in some ways help grow or evolve, so definitely be on the lookout for that. That will probably be out in the next week or two is my guess. But these games do a great job of making the destination worthwhile because of the journey. Previously I had mentioned these games and them being fair. Beyond being able to make mistakes and learn from them, the games generally also provide a plethora of options to navigate your way through them. Whether it's your character build, weapons, armor, consumables, magic, or other means, there's always a way to make an obstacle easier to circumvent. This can also mean the complete opposite too. Shout out to Master Pete, who's one of my favorite hitless runners and a really good friend. He chooses to go in just straight birthday suit, loincloth included, for his runs, whether it's his hitless runs or his casual first playthroughs. Whatever path you choose, the game offers plenty of support to guide you through. The only factor whether you use them or not is you. I love that some bosses that can cause myself extreme difficulty can be first tried by others. It just shows how much each playthrough can vary and how at the end of the day, we are all getting to the same endgame. How you get there is your choice. Next up on the list, environments. FromSoft titles have some of the most memorable worlds in gaming, from Irithyll leading up to Pontiff, Cliffside overlooking Liurnia, Anor Londo, The Hunter's Dream, Fountainhead Palace, Majula, Rubicon, and more. These games, their characters, and the worlds they are placed in are met with such strong attention to detail. Not just visual detail, but impactful detail as well. Moments where our jaws dropped and we sat there in complete awe of the landscapes, the architecture, the wildlife, or even the atmosphere. I don't personally have nearly as much experience gaming as a whole as many of you, I'm sure, just being stuck on COD for so long, but I can say with confidence that FromSoft titles are some of the most immersive experiences I've had in gaming. Everything is foreign, and we are left with pure curiosity in what these worlds have to offer, both good and bad. All of the FromSoft titles feature a large-scale battle with a boss that is generally 10 to 20 times the size of your character. The only way these are able to not feel forced is the world building that takes place leading up to them. They just fit with the stories and their environments. One of my favorites was the ice worm in Armored Core 6. I can just remember going out onto the ice for the first time and having 3 or 4 NPC characters fighting alongside me to take this thing out. The duality of darkness and beauty is ever present in these games, and for so many that not only hits us visually, but also internally in some ways as well. Another major aspect to these games is their interconnectedness. The vast array of shortcuts, secret rooms, lifts, doors, and other forms of unlocking the world create a sense of excitement around discovery. Whether it's seeking new items or potentially secret boss encounters, the games do a fantastic job of rewarding curiosity and exploration. The ability to know you always have a bonfire ahead of you, but you never know exactly where it is. It could be close, could be twice as long as you think. Makes decisions of how to proceed very interesting at times. There's always a real risk of losing what you've earned, and nobody enjoys throwing that away. For some games, the process of losing what you've earned due to curiosity or simply trying to progress to the next checkpoint can be exhausting and a bit deflating. Not being smart and cautious can lead to losing your items and souls, but generally the payoff for getting through to the next area or fight is well worth it. The sense of relief when you find that next bonfire, the excitement when you see the next chest or fog gate, if there's no risk without the reward, then we wouldn't want to continue being punished for no reason. The combat of these games has a large range, but all stems from the same foundation. Stamina-based battles with animation-locked actions. When you attack, your character will be locked into the full animation until it either completes, is knocked out of it, or you die. This requires the player to really consider their actions and also be mindful of the timing of attacks, as well as the best opportunities to heal, swap items, etc. It can be a lot to keep together at times, but it's intentional, no doubt. You are in control. When you die, it's on you. This system can be incredibly frustrating at times, but overall is a very rewarding experience where you learn as you go and improve with each attempt. Understanding the timing and pace of fights is part of an overall rhythm. Fights as a whole are a fun and exciting experience where you feel you've accomplished and gained something significant after each win. There are a few engagements where you are expected to use a given weapon, but beyond those, the plan of attack is entirely up to you. So this final topic is more of an effect of FromSoft than a foundation of FromSoft, and that's perseverance. Playing these games over the last year has allowed me to kind of learn their ways and the things that they try to do. And once I was able to kind of get to that point, it really allowed me to fully enjoy my playthroughs and my experiences in those playthroughs. At times they can be harsh, unforgiving, and downright toxic, but when you are able to accept that for what it is and start realizing you can get through it, just the act of pushing through and going for it, if you're doubting yourself, can be a huge experience. Being able to remain patient and curious to learn, but also continuing to persevere when you feel that doubt, is something I've learned through playing these games and watching others challenge themselves in these games. So to wrap things up, if you've never played any of these games, I would absolutely recommend giving them a chance. Elden Ring is probably the most approachable as it's open world and gives you some breathing room, but they are all fantastic. Bloodborne is and will always be my #1 game ever. These games and their formula have pushed me in ways I never thought possible. I will forever be grateful for the experiences I've had playing them and the people I've gotten to meet through them. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a sub and a like. It helps get the videos out to more Souls enjoyers. Other than that, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will catch you all in the next one.